today what we're going to talk about is a very important part of the swing and a very common flaw that young hitters have an issue with. And one of the first things that I look at when I'm evaluating a hitter or providing some training for a hitter is his ability to get in a good, strong, loaded position. When I talk about a loaded position, I'm talking about the hands going back, which is your trigger, and also the foot taking a short stride. The end result of the trigger and the stride equals your load. So when we talk about the trigger, your hands are going back in a very rhythmic position. Oftentimes, especially when I first started working with hitters, I would refer to it as a Nike swoosh. Thinking about a Nike swoosh as it starts to go back, it's a very rhythmic motion. It's not just a straight back motion. When I trigger, it's not done with my shoulders. If I do that with my shoulders, it's going to create a long swing. It's going to add length to my swing, which is going to take a long time for the barrel to get to the ball. It also prevents my ability to adjust. When we start talking about adjusting, when you're getting just straight fastballs, it's pretty easy to hit. But when we talk about the curve balls, we got to adjust to those. We talk about sliders, change-ups. We want to make sure that our hands are in a position to go back and go directly to the ball. Oftentimes, too, you'll see hitters, even at the major league level, they get their hands back and they may tend to get out front, particularly on change-ups, but if they're using their hands properly, they may not even get an opportunity to use their legs and still drive the baseball because their hands are loose, they're active, and allows them to take a direct route to the ball. But again, when we talk about the load, we're talking about the trigger and the stride. My trigger, my Nike swoosh, that action happens first. Then I take a stride, a very short stride, making sure that my feet remain even. That is my load. One of the things that I see with a lot of hitters, the reason why they're not able to get leverage and drive the ball is because they don't get the foot down. You got to get the foot down. As the pitcher's going through his windup, the foot's got to be down. Now at this point, I'm tracking the baseball. I got to determine if it's high or low, fast or slow, in or out. I got to determine if it's breaking or if it's straight. I do that with my foot being down. Now when I start my swing with my hands, I'm in a leverage position so that I can make contact and drive the ball. So commonly when I'm speaking to my hitters, I'm telling them to step to hit versus step and hit. We want to step to hit so that I can track the ball, be in a good leverage position to drive it as opposed to stepping and swinging at the same time. So it's very important that we get the foot down. When we talk about our timing, when we're facing pitchers, what I like to refer to my hitters is, if I'm facing an above average fastball, I want to make sure that my foot is down now. Because pitchers that throw extremely hard, they get from here to release point very quickly. If it's an average fastball, at this point, if it's a below average fastball, here. So I would classify those pitchers, as far as my timing is concerned, as a 1, a 2, and a 3. And I determine that when the pitcher is warming up in the bullpen or when I'm in the on-deck circle. So I got to make sure I properly classify those pitchers so that I can get my foot down. Why? So that I can track the ball, but also so that I can be in a leverage position to drive it. We don't want to just make hard contact. We want to drive the baseball. So you have to get your foot down in order to do so with a good load. A trigger, a stride, now my swing. And when I start that swing, I'm starting with my hands. I'm going to take a few swings off the tee, and I want to make sure that I'm separating my load from my swing. Separate my load, my trigger, my stride. My trigger, my step, my swing. Separating that load. Trigger, step, swing. When I go into my load, that's my load, swing. And that's the rhythm that I want to